Hello and welcome to English 101. I'm your instructor, Tracy Dotson. In this video, I am going to go over the parts of Cobra that you will need to know to use for this semester. As you're looking at this, you may be looking at this here and realizing, wait a minute, I'm in a different section of 101, and that's fine. This semester I'm actually teaching two online sections of 101, so literally your pages are the same. Okay, so don't freak out if you watch a video this semester and the section number is different than what you're in. It's all the same information. When you go into Cobra, click on English 101. This is our home page. And our home page has several different widgets for you. And so here on ours we have the announcements where this video will be linked right here. And then on the right there is our calendar, and it will list when things are due as well as when drop boxes are closing. Each widget you can collapse to make smaller. And so underneath those, I've got links for library resources if you need those, Parkland News, student updates, drop and withdrawal dates, and then the general college syllabus. And here it has a whole bunch of important information. And in the yellow here, the college wants you to know that they're trying to do everything as remotely as possible this semester, so you don't have to come to campus. And they ask that you call the department first before visiting. Alright, up here in the tabs we have another link to the calendar, and this I actually use in the monthly setup. And so here, this is our first day of week 1. You can see here that there is a Dropbox that will close. This is an assignment that is due, and it is due by noon. That is the diagnostic essay. And then you have a syllabus quiz and a background journal for paper number 1. And those both need to be in their corresponding drop boxes and completed quiz on here by 11:59 Sunday night. Okay? So as you go through, you kind of see the setup of when things are due. So next Wednesday, you will have to read 3 articles and answer questions. Those will be due in the Dropbox before 11:59. On that same day, you will have an email assignment due to me by noon. Okay? And then here is the Dropbox for the article questions. This semester you will be writing 4 intense papers, and so I will release the information per paper. Okay, so it won't be in weekly amounts. I'll just release all of the information for that paper, and then you can work at your own pace if you like as you go through all the assignments. So if you get assignments done early, go ahead and turn them in. Up here you can click through the months to see here's when your first draft will be due, the final draft, and then for our next paper we'll start it. The outline for it will be due here, the rough draft here, and so on. Okay, under our content tab, this is where all of our material will be. Alright, under the underview here, this is your course syllabus. Okay, part of your assignment for week 1 is to go through it, and I will make a video where I explain everything. Any Word documents or PowerPoints on Cobra you can actually download to your computer. So scroll below the document, click on download. This will pop up down here. You'll click on it, and then it should pop up as long as you have Word or PowerPoint on your computer. A yellow bar will pop up, click on Enable Editing, and then you can actually type on this document. If you don't have Microsoft Word on your computer, you will need to get it. You have actually free access to Office 365. So when you sign into your Parkland email account, it might go straight to your Outlook. However, if you go up to the dots, here on this page is where you can install Office 365. Okay, and it's just a couple of steps, easy to follow. Alright, and so it'll give you Word, Excel, OneDrive, PowerPoint, a whole host of those. Okay, you will need to use Microsoft Word to type up your papers this semester. Our Dropbox, where you will be submitting your assignments, does not connect to Google Docs. So if you're used to using Gmail and Google Docs to write your papers before, you can no longer do that. You need to use Microsoft Word, submit it as a Word document or a PDF file. So that is the syllabus. And then right now you're looking at my view of Cobra. You will have less folders in your content, but you should be seeing the first 4 folders here. So the first folder is week 1 assignments. So here is the assignment for the diagnostic essay that is due by noon on Friday, September 18th. Make sure you get that turned in. And then below, I will have the video where I go over the syllabus along with the instructions for taking the syllabus quiz. The next folder is called What is an Argument? It has 2 PowerPoint presentations, and I will post a video where I go through those. So make sure that after you get the syllabus diagnostic essay done, you go and watch those videos. Next is a folder called Grammar. We're not really going to do a lot of grammar in this class, but if you need a refresher course or anything, these are PowerPoint presentations that I use. And then finally, paper number 1. Each paper folder is going to be set up the same way, where I will have a guidelines page, and then there will be a video that goes over the guidelines of how that paper will be set up. And then there's going to be 2 subfolders. The first one is pre-writing assignments. The second one is actually writing the paper. So you're going to start with making sure you read through the guidelines and then pre-writing assignments. Now, as you can see, here's the 4 assignments, but I've actually put in instructions underneath each of these as well. But you can't see them here when you're underneath just the paper 1 folder. So what you need to do is you need to click over here, the corresponding link onto the side, and it'll just show you the pre-writing assignments, and then you can see the additional due dates for everything. Okay? So here's your background journal it's a worksheet that you can download, type in your answers, save as, and then you can submit it to the Dropbox. It needs to be in the Dropbox before 11:59 Sunday, September 20th. Here's the instructions for the email assignment. It needs to be emailed me by noon on Wednesday the 23rd. Here are 3 articles that you need to read and take notes on for this first paper. And then there are questions to answer regarding those articles, and those questions need to be typed up and submitted to the Dropbox before 11:59 on the 23rd. Alright, so that's how we're going to get started with that first paper. Once those are completed, we are going to start writing the paper. And so again, you have these links, but there's more information there. So if you go over to the left, click on the actual folder, writing the paper, here you see them. So here, just again reiterating the typing guidelines. They're very important. You will receive a 0 if you do not follow them correctly. Here is the information on how to write the outline. It needs to be in the Dropbox before 11:59 on Friday, September 25th. Here is information on the works cited page, and again, if you go over here, oops, it'll have more information there. And so this information will tell you how to write your works cited page as well as in-text citations, and I will have a video explaining all of that as well. And then here we have a checklist for the rough draft. So before you turn in your rough draft, go through the checklist, make sure your rough draft has everything. Alright, so that's the general setup of how each paper folder will look like. You'll have the guidelines to follow, your pre-writing assignments, and then the writing process itself for the paper. The next tab we have is the Dropbox. And so I've got most of the Dropboxes created. There's a few more that I still need to make. But we've got everything for our first paper here. So this first Dropbox is if you need an extra place to save your work, you can save it here. Okay? You'll click here, you'll go to add a file, You have two choices. You can add a file from your computer and browse your computer, or you can add it from the OneDrive. And then you'll click on that and it'll pop up. You'll submit and then you'll click on done. Once you've done that, a little number will pop up here, and that's where you can click on that number and you can go back to your document if you need it. So here's the place where you would submit for the diagnostic essay, your background journal, article questions, outline, works cited, rough draft, and final draft. Okay? And so those all have due dates, and make sure I say before 11:59 because it will close at 11:59. I've had students in the past when I've said midnight or I've said noon or I've said 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. and they get confused which time is it, day or night. So that's why I say 11:59 p.m. Everybody understands when that is, okay? So don't wait until 11:59 p.m. to submit that. You will be blacked out and you won't be able to submit your assignment. So give yourself at least 15 minutes before 11:59 to get that submitted. Your syllabus quiz and any other quizzes will be completed under the quizzes tab here. And then grades will be listed here. You'll have an overall grade here up at the top at the left. And I will say, if you want to move forward in the class, you don't have to stay on a schedule weekly. If you want to just keep moving through at your own pace, that's completely fine. I will grade as you turn things in. So you might be a person who your life is really busy and you don't have the time to move forward as much. You're going to do more on a weekly basis, and that's fine. Either way is fine. But if someone's moving ahead, I'm going to go grade that and I'm going to post it to Cobra. But what will happen is if you haven't turned in the assignment yet, it'll be a 0 in the grade book. But you'll want to notice on the side next to that grade, if you're on a smaller device, you may have to scroll over. I'll put a note saying, you haven't turned this in yet, that's okay. Other people are turning it in early. You still have until such and such a time to get it done. Okay? So don't freak out. And that's going to be it for our Cobra usage this semester. Okay? So if you have any questions about how to use Cobra, please let me know. And go ahead and get started with week 1 assignments and what you need to get done for paper number 1. I'll talk to you later.